So today I'm going to be doing something a little different. It is Christmas Eve, and whether you celebrate it or not, I didn't think it was appropriate or right to just do makeup or talk about makeup. So I thought I would share some footage of me dancing in none other than the Nutcracker. For those of you that don't know, I used to be a professional ballet dancer. I retired at the age of 38, and I was very fortunate to have an amazing career, and of course that included the Nutcracker. So because today is a holiday and I just felt like it would be fun to go down memory lane and share some of the behind the scenes information that you may not know about, I thought that would be fun. So in case you're interested, then keep on watching. Hey guys, it's Kat and welcome to my channel. It is the end of a year, it is a holiday, and I thought, you know what, let's take a trip down memory lane. Now, I've danced so many different ballets, both modern, contemporary, classical, but if you were a professional ballet dancer, and if you are, you cannot get away from the Nutcracker. And any sort of ballet company, that is their bread and butter, that is the biggest money maker because it's a holiday treat. You know, the parents love to take their children to see it. And if you don't know the story of the Nutcracker, it's about a family called the Stahlbaums, and it's based in Germany. It's an old tale. I think that's from the 1800s. So the Stahlbaums have two children, a daughter named Clara and a son named Fritz, and of course Mr. and Mrs. Stahlbaum. And they're having a Christmas Eve party where they all celebrate the holidays, they eat, they drink, and of course presents are given out by her mysterious uncle Drosselmeyer. I don't know if he's related to the mom or the dad, who knows, but he's kind of weird, but he also is a toy maker. So he presents Clara with a Nutcracker that she is completely enamored with. But anyway, so in this footage I'm showing is the opening of Act 2, Kingdom or the Land of the Sweets. And here I am as the Dewdrop Fairy with her cavalier, not to be confused with the Sugar Plum Fairy, because in this version, the Dewdrop Fairy was kind of second in command to the Sugar Plum Fairy, and we are gonna watch my entrance for Act 2, the Nutcracker. So the curtain opens, and this is a huge opulent stage, and this is my entrance. I'm already on stage, and my partner here is Marcus, and he was from Germany, and these are just simple little penchés and a nice lift. I love this part because I feel like the stage is so beautiful and big, and those are my flowers, the flower core for Waltz of the Flowers, and I think it was just a beautiful way to make an entrance of the entire second act. And I loved this costume, and I love the crown because it is just so elegant and almost alien-esque. And this lift was super fun going off on stage. And then this is the actual ballet part of Waltz of the Flowers. As you can see, I'm coming in like I'm just like I'm lounging on a chaise lounge, like, you know, drinking a cocktail. But this is when the real dancing begins. Marcus and I do like a little do-si-do. And as you see, I'm on point. Those are point shoes. Fun fact, point shoes cost about $80 to $100. They're handmade. They only last for a couple of shows, if that. And they're super expensive, like I said. And there's so many different brands. I think in this production, I was wearing a brand called Ava Martens, and they were out of Germany, and I had them custom fitted to my feet. So that was amazing. I was so fortunate to have custom made shoes. So this is my first solo here in Waltz of the Flowers. I actually fought to put this solo in. I said, look, the girl, the man gets to dance all the time, but put the girl in. So I got this like 16 counts of just turns and lifts, and that was my big old solo, yeah. And then here's the very end, the big culmination. And I'm up in this huge torch lift. We call it a torch lift. It looks scary, but you get used to it. I had so much fun at this last part because I was like, it's almost over, it's almost over. And then we're just bebopping around, saute soutenu, and this is called a whip turn, big lift, and then he drops, and no arms, Mom. No hands, yeah. And you're practically gripping yourself with your leg just to stay on. And of course your abs. I was so in shape back then. I'm so not in shape now. But yes, so that was Waltz of the Flowers. So now I want to show you a little bit of the pas de deux, which means dance for two in French, for the Sugar Plum Fairy. Now this particular performance. I wish I had videos of other performances, but this is the best version I could find. And keep in mind, these were filmed back in 1993, so that was 30 years ago. This was before cell phones and really high-tech cameras, but this was in Florida. And I remember Marcus came up to me and he's like, hey, what are you doing next weekend? I was like, I don't know, nothing. He goes, I need a partner for Nutcracker and the performance is next week. I was like, next week? What are you talking about? And he said, my partner got injured and I was hoping you could fill in for her. So I literally had 1 week to learn an entire pas de deux, rehearse it, and put it on stage. I didn't even have a costume. So if you see the costume here, it's actually borrowed from my ballet company that I danced with at the time, Ballet Florida. They were so gracious to let me use it, as well as the crown. And oh my God, wait till you see this costume. It starts out very slow, very grand, very easy, but then it just builds and builds and builds. And this is one of the most difficult pas de deux. This is a version that was choreographed by a woman named Madame Darvash. And this is the only time I performed it. And remember, I learned it in a week. So there's so many different versions of the Sugar Plum pas de deux. There is one kind of a staple pas de deux, but this one is not it. This was so different, so off the beaten path pas de deux, but I think it has such beautiful, elegant musical moments. And like I said, learning it, rehearsing it, and performing it in a span of a week was so exhausting, but so exhilarating at the same time. I think that's why I loved ballet so much, because you never know what's going to happen, but you trust in all the work and dedication that you've applied, and then whatever you get on stage is whatever you get. But this part I love because it's super calm. The costume was gorgeous. It didn't fit me quite well because it wasn't made on my body type, but we made it work. And now that I watch this video, I can see some of the mistakes that I've made. But you know what? That was 30 years ago. It's hard for me to watch when I was a dancer because I'm my worst critic. But sometimes you just got to let go and be like, that was pretty good back then. So this is just a series of like poses and, on point, sur le point. Well, that's in French. I told you my French accent was terrible. And then the music starts to build, and then the dance gets harder and harder and harder. And then this, of course, is called a pirouette into an arabesque, releve, attitude. I can't remember all this. I can't believe I remember all that stuff. Okay, so I fudged that part up a little bit. And then the cameraman, I mean, it's kind of funny because you're like, I don't want to see my crotch or close-ups. Dancers want to see, pretty fairly close up, but they want to see the entire body so we can watch it and go back and make corrections. So the camera angles were super strange on this, but I'm just grateful I have a copy of this performance. Now this is where it's really gearing up. It's getting really exciting, and we're going to do, ta-da, big lift. And people love it when the ballerina is lifted high up in the air and when she's thrown around. I mean, it's fun for the girl too. It really was. It's just like you're riding high and you're up in the lift and you can see everything out in the audience. It was just, you know what? It was such a special time for me. I have done Nutcracker so many times. It almost gets to the point where if you hear that music in the shopping mall, you just kind of go, oh, God, and it kind of makes you nervous. After 30 years, I still get that, oh my gosh, I hear that music. Am I missing my cue? Am I missing, my entrance? It never goes away. It really never goes away. And then, I don't know. It was just so much fun back then. We had taken, I remember one tour we did from Alabama all the way up to Ohio. And this is, in ballet companies, you do a lot of traveling, a lot of touring, and you're on a tour bus with the entire company. Personalities clash. You just try to get some rest. You're on the road and you're just eating really, really bad food. You check into different hotels. You're wondering, when's the next time am I going to do my laundry? And then you're in different theaters and different venues. But you just, when you're younger, you just make it work. You don't think it's so difficult back then. But now I'm like, how did I do that without going crazy? And then you work with different orchestras, so you got to work with different composers to get the right tempo of everything. It's, you know what, when I think back, it was super magical, and I'm so fortunate to have those moments and life experiences. Oh, I love this last lift. It's so much fun. The audience loves it. It kind of looks like you're ice skating there, and then you're like, okay, last couple of turns. Oh yeah. Make it pretty. You're just thinking, make it pretty. And you're like, ta-da. And big finish. Yay. So I'm looking at Marcus going, we got through it. We got through it. Now to get through our solos and the coda or the finale. It's just the tip of the iceberg when you dance a pas de deux, because first you start out slow and methodic, and then the man dances the solo, then the female dances the solo, and then you come back for one big party like coda where you do a lot of fast turns and jumps, and it's just kind of like the exclamation point at the end of the pas de deux or the dance for two. I'm going to show you a little blip of the Sugar Plum Fairy variation. This one was one of the most difficult variations for Sugar Plum that I've ever done. You're supposed to be light and airy and ethereal, and I felt nothing but heavy, clunky, and just trying to get through it because it was such a different version that I've ever danced before in my career. But I made it work, baby. I made it work. If you see the close-up on my face, the makeup is so heavy. Why is it so heavy? Why are our features so exaggerated? Because we're on a stage, you're being lit from the front and from the sides, and you're playing to a house of hundreds, sometimes thousands in the theater. So you really have to exaggerate all of your features, like your eyes, your eyebrows. You want those cheekbones and your lips. And of course, we had to wear false eyelashes and just heavy, what we called cake makeup. I used Max Factor pancake makeup. It was just like this thick on your face, literally. And then of course the false eyelashes and the exaggerated cat eye, and of course the defined eyebrow. It took literally about half an hour to 45 minutes to apply stage makeup. This is horrible to admit, but back in the day, I didn't know that much about skincare. So when removing the makeup, literally used baby wipes. Now keep in mind, this is back in 1990, 92, 93, 94. We didn't have anything else. We didn't have like those fancy wipes that we have now with like cucumber and aloe. We just used baby wipes, you know, the ones you use on babies' butts. Just try to take off the inches of makeup on our complexion. And then we go to the very last hoorah, the coda. The ballerina does a series of like exciting turns or jumps. These are called fouettes. And then you're supposed to speed up, da-da-da-da-da, chaînés. And now I'm looking at Marcus going, it's almost over. We're almost done. And we got to push out these big jumps at the very end. You're exhausted. Your legs are on fire. Your feet are cramping. And you still have to make it look super effortless and easy and elegant. I felt far from that. I was just like, oh my gosh. And here I am going, final turns, and let's do this. One turn, double, second turn, make it a triple. Nope, only a double. Big jump and finish. You always want to finish on the music because the audience is going to remember the last thing you've done, always. And that was what I was told as a dancer. Always make the finish strong. So yeah, thanks for going down memory lane with me. But that was it. That was some of the Nutcracker pieces that I wanted to share with you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I know it's Christmas Eve. I just wanted to pop on here and say Merry Christmas to you. And like I said, if you don't celebrate it, that's okay. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and yeah, just super grateful, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, yeah, I know it's not my typical, but like I said, it's not always about the makeup. I hope you have a beautiful and joyous season, and yeah, mahal kita. I love you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.